but then I'm like, why did I get there? And now I discovered I still have things to grow out of as a leader. Because I cannot move on with this need of wanting to explain myself.
Yeah.
Each time a situation comes to my table, I still want to explain myself. So now learning even from the father I met, how do you do life? How do you actually live a life where you know this is truth, this is what you believe in, and walk through certain doors and live a life beyond what you've known before? Without necessarily wanting to explain yourself to everyone.
I get it.
So that was a lesson that now began for me from 2018.
Hey, Mary, kuna story.
Sit here with Mary, video 12.
You guys are laughing because of my pronunciation of Garariga. The G silent. Garariga. All the way from Garariga to Silicon Valley. From a fake billionaire to a real billionaire. To a billion startups.
Yes.
You're this billion one. Okay, 2017.
So 2017, I start the A Billion Startups. And the reason I started it was, I mentioned earlier how my interaction with all these people I met in the US and how interested they were in investing in businesses in Africa specifically, and then now how people would approach me to mentor them or to train them in entrepreneurship.
Okay.
So as an entrepreneur, at that point, I still had that mind. I'm like, the biggest issue entrepreneurs have is not necessarily funding. There's something more. And I look at my story and I say that I did not have the funding, but I had a skill. I had certain networks, and that became my capital.
Yeah.
So as I was speaking to entrepreneurs at the beginning, I was trying to redefine for them what capital is. Capital can be, the way you think, your mindset. It can be so many things apart from money. Because most of them would focus on, I don't have money, so I cannot begin a business.
Yep.
So I started meeting entrepreneurs. I'd meet 5 to 10 each Friday.
So A Billion Startups in the beginning of this time, it is
I just registered
a mentorship forum.
Yeah, forum. Yeah, I just registered a business name under Glasshouse, and it was like a CSR activity that I would do under Glasshouse.
Yes.
And of course, because I leaned more on PR, I wanted to help entrepreneurs or startups to learn how to tell their stories, especially using digital tools.
Yes.
So I'd meet 5 to 10 entrepreneurs every Friday, and it was quite interesting that would talk and people would end up not having the issue, like not, the way they thought their issue was capital, they'll be like, actually, that's not my issue. I just needed to know how to put a Facebook ad.
Yes.
And then I show them and they're like, oh, that's perfect. Or I needed market access. I need to know how to position myself. I need to know how to become a good marketer. I need to know how to set up structures. So then I started bringing different speakers who would speak to the different entrepreneurs. By 2018, I'd walked, or I'd mentored like 200 entrepreneurs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Giving you Friday every single week as often as you can.
Yeah. Every Friday I will do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then let me ask, what does your employee size look at that time?
Could I remember? Maybe 5 to 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
5 to 10 is not small. It's small by when you're defining a company size.
Yeah.
But when you come from zero, it's something. It's leadership. It's a scalable leadership.
Yeah.
And this is currently in Kenya.
Is it 5? Yeah. We'd still work with different consultants if a job came across the continent. Yeah.
Okay, go on then.
So we'll do a lot of those. I did a lot of A Billion Startup in 2017, and for some reason, 2017 we only had this one particular client, but also 2017 was very different for me. There are many things that were redefined. So remember, I've come to a place where I was in the media, I was all over the place, but then 2017 there was a stop in terms of those things, and there was a beginning of a new journey for actually 7 years. for some reason, there was a bit of a restraining even to go for media interviews. But then I still would, of course, I was serving my clients.
Okay. When you say you're talking about your personal brand,
my personal brand, yeah.
you didn't put it out for the 7 years ends last year.
Yeah.
From 2017.
I mean, I would do some interviews here and there. I've never gone to the media asking them to do my story, by the way.
Yeah.
I've never done my own PR.
Yeah.
They call me, they say they want to do my story.
But now you are saying no more.
Some I'd say no. I said no more than any other time. And I realized later, I'm like, wait, these 7 years was supposed to prepare me for the next form of leadership that I'm supposed to get into.
Okay.
So for 7 years, there was a lot of redefining for me that happened between 2017 to 2023. A lot of redefining, a lot of changing of perspective in the inside of me, a lot of mind shifts. And this is the same time where even I met someone who I now refer to as a father, and I'll talk about it later, because for accurate leadership to come out from a woman, they need to also have the right father with them.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Speaking of somebody who didn't have their father.
Yeah.
Okay, so go on. I'm with you.
So 2017, we had this one client who used to complain from Monday to Sunday. Actually, I need to say someone who, she's now an influencer. Millie Chubby used to work for us in 2017.
For real?
And Terence will drop her at the office and then, come and pick her. Yeah, she used to help me with media relations.
Wow.
Yeah, she was good in media relations. So there's this client who used to serve, who used to be so bad to us, but we did all we could. And also we had now the digital media department and the media relations.
But despite you being bad, there are things that are good for them to still stay with you.
Yeah, no, they were not complaining that we are bad. It's just a thing that sometimes clients in the PR, like they want you to be with them every day. Because we were good. We actually, we did some work for a particular bank. That particular bank had never been in the newspaper before 2017. They were old school. We got them into the newspaper. We worked with them on some digital media campaign. I actually went to Njoki Timo. How did I even meet him? I don't even remember. And then I even negotiated for him to do a video for them for 20,000. We actually paid him 20K. And he did a video for them, which they still, I think, play. And then even the templates they use today, it's the templates we created for them then.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually did a very good job for them. It's just that the marketing manager used because remember, they're also still trying to understand the use of PR. Because most companies even now, there are many companies that are transitioning from, why do we need PR? I remember there's a company I met. I've been in this business for 20 years and we are doing okay. Why do we need PR?
Oh.
And we have marketing and we are okay. We are doing well. Why do we need you? So businesses are still transitioning. And what would the answer
be to that?
I mean, sometimes we'll be like, could you please have a session where we can explain to you the value of PR? Some of them will be like, they don't want to hear, or they don't want to know, especially the older people who are owners of businesses.
Never before, never like before. What am I trying to say in proper English? There's no time like now. In all my years of digital, from the time I started, that I have seen a demand for people to tell their stories. Granted, because I have a storytelling platform, they are calling me or reaching out to me direct. But still, it's not that I haven't had this platform for before. The demand for authentic storytelling is so high. And I say, because of what the deep fake and the AIs and all of that whole world that is coming in.
And misinformation.
Misinformation, exactly. And other people owning your narrative. You get, and other people not. You see, this is like a Wikipedia. People will come and check this later on to hear your story. So it's becoming so crucial for that storytelling like I have never seen before. So I understand back in the day if they had that question, and I really don't understand because I realized we just didn't understand PR. We intertwined it with marketing. So
PR, branding, and now marketing.
And maybe there needs to be a simplified way, and maybe that's the thing, the person who cracks that. I like the story that you gave, because how do you communicate this even to people who are not as savvy about its need? You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you do this billion startups, these clients, but then you're growing. Now you've got a bank.
Yeah. So we're still doing a billion startups, and then we have a bank as well. They would even support us for a billion startups events, actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
So now I would go for sponsorship for them.
Yeah, I would go for the sponsorship for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I said that's why.
No, I was like, yeah.
Kuna story hapo, but I'll move on swiftly.
No, I was trying to remember whether we did a huge event that needed a lot of money. No, we were just smaller events.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's still, that's where you start.
Yeah.
So, client-wise, I'm hearing about your client
We are
life.
growing, yeah.
You're growing.
Yeah.
Smaller individuals are coming, SMEs.
Yes.
But not even
Banks.
bigger. That's a bigger companies.
Yeah.
Or institutions.
Yeah.
So what happens?
I also need to share to an aspect of there was elections in 2017 or was it 2018. So also and I tell people there are different aspects I've seen. There's a time for post-election violence. There's a time for elections. I think I've been through 3 elections in business, and how especially in 2017 you'll be like, okay, can we sign this contract? People will be like, no, after elections. We won't sign this, but after elections. But then you have to keep holding and believing and always hoping that, after elections people are going to come back. So it's quite an interesting thing for entrepreneurs.
As an entrepreneur, have you had cash flow problems where you're looking at people's salaries and you're like, the math.
What has happened because of how our industry works, we make sure that as we are putting in people, we have particular projects that we've signed up for. So by the time we are allocating people certain projects, they are working and they're being paid directly by clients.
I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So go on.
So 2017 was quite interesting, and again it started my process for transformation now as a person. And then 2018 comes. So what comes at the beginning of the year? Someone goes on Twitter, and then there's a reminder of the story of 2015. And then someone writes, what happened to this glass house? And then people are there discussing, they went down with Heshandi Silver, and they're there like discussing live.
Tweet tagging you.
I don't know how. No, I didn't see it. Someone sent to me. Someone who she's actually a lawyer.
Yeah.
Sent to me. So I look at it and then I'm like, I have to respond. I don't know why I felt like I had the need of replying. And that's the time God showed me you still have the need to want to explain yourself. You need to let go of this need. So I remember now replying. I forgot to tell you. So when I was trending in 2015, there's a particular person who would even keep abusing me throughout 2016, all the way until, because Boniface Mwangi now I think was feeling guilty because he's the one who put it online, and now he started apparently fighting for me, telling just leave her, she's a young girl, just just leave her. That was quite interesting as well. So 2018 comes and this story comes up. So I feel the need to reply. So I tell the people, I've gotten this information from my legal team, and if you continue with this story, you might find something about defamation.
Where's the carousel into the fire?
I almost trended. Again. And I remember the people are putting memes of some lawyers. There's a meme from Nigeria with some weird lawyers, that glasshouse lawyer looking at tweets and reporting to their CEO.
Kenyans.
I know. And then they're like, who is this? The Gen Zs who don't even know any story, have never, it was just a combination of so many things. But then I'm like, why did I get there? And now I discovered I still have things to grow out of as a leader, because I cannot move on with this need of wanting to explain myself.
Yeah.
Each time a situation comes to my table, I still want to explain myself. So now now learning even from the father I met, how do you do life? How do you actually live a life where you know this is truth, this is what you believe in, and walk through certain doors and live a life beyond what you've known before, without necessarily wanting to explain yourself to everyone.
I get it.
So that was a lesson that now began for me from 2018.
Yes, and how did you meet him?
How did I meet him? Someone introduced me to them, and I knew this was
home.
This is home. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So 2018 was quite interesting. Again, I'm on LinkedIn, and now I started getting a lot of jobs through LinkedIn. So I'm on LinkedIn, and someone asks that the Ethiopian, and it's an agency of the Ethiopian government, is looking for a PR agency in Kenya. Someone tags me. I reply, I email them, and we get the job. So we do our first job in government relations in 2018.
In Ethiopia?
No, in Kenya.
Oh,
so
in Kenya.
It was a government to government. So what they were doing, they wanted to bring the ministers from Ethiopia to visit different clusters of agriculture in Kenya.
Okay.
So we were hosting the ministers of, I think there are 9. How many provinces do they have? There are many provinces they have to come and visit different clusters in Kenya in agriculture. So I had to choose which counties they are going to visit.
Wow.
And which county governments they are going to meet.
So are you the one doing all, because that means going to all the different places, or do you send people?
I sent people, and then I knew people. I mean, again, K-Crew helped. I called, what do you call him? The guy who... Henry Motuko, Steve Motuko, he was working in
for the
Makueni,
yes.
Makueni, Makueni, and that was one of the counties that we wanted to go learn about the mango cluster. And then called someone in Kirinyaga County, called another person. Called Stella.
It's okay, Stella's been here, you can say it.
I called Stella for Kirinyaga.
Call Stella, say
Called Stella for Kirinyaga County, called, who did I call? There's another, we went to 2 other counties. And they were coming to learn about how we do agriculture in Kenya.
Okay. So
that was also a big job, because it opened us up to now working with governments.
And what is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, go on.
So then that's where I learned about how G2G relations work, how you work with county governments.
And since then, have you done more G2G?
Yes, and also B2G mostly.
Businesses to government?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the concept of public affairs, what people call in corporate communication, public affairs, was now introduced.
Okay.
And I started learning how, as we are doing PR, we need to consider all the publics, including the government, and how do we engage governments as we are doing whatever we are doing with our clients.
Wow.
And also now my relationships now with county governments started growing. And I think it's that year, I'm trying to remember, and I don't want to mention him. Someone, I can mention it. Someone was a senator of Nairobi. We also had, I think he called me for a meeting as well from out of the blues. But I had met him before on a launch I was doing. I forgot to mention, there's a client also who was launching a tech product in Kenya. We did a lot of tech before 2017 as well.
Yeah.
And I'd invited him as a guest speaker, and he came. So we had met before, but then this time he called me to just have a conversation of his brand as a senator. So that was also quite interesting, because now I started thinking of how to also work with politicians as well.
Okay.
So that was also introduced around 2017 to 2018.
Was that our governor?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Honorable Sakaja.
So 2018, there's a lot of...
So did you work with him?
We never worked.
But you just, it opened up your mind to the possibility of doing politicians.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you worked with any politicians?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So 2018, I'm trying to remember what has happened in 2018.
No problem.
But then 2019 came. I'm trying to remember whether it's 2019 or 2020. So 2019, yeah, it's 2019. So 2020
is COVID, so...
Yeah, 2018, there was a lot of also a small project here and there, and also now working with the real estate companies. And this guy, he started growing, so we were handling his 3 real estate companies.
Wow.
Yeah, so he was actually really growing. He was
Okay.
doing a lot. And this time he seemed to be consistent. So we were
With the payments.
with payments, and we had now a team. Now
Yeah.
things are now.
So now even you're internally growing.
Yes, and I'm internally glowing
Glowing. It's true.
and growing.
And growing.
But then for me, those 7 years were quite critical, and I didn't understand why until I turned. Now is it 35? Now turning 36 last year, and
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, I needed those 7 years to just step back, know who I am completely. Remember from when I'm sharing my story from when I was a child to 2016, the naivety, you don't even know discernment, you don't know how to do life, you don't have any wisdom, you just go trusting everyone. Now coming to a place where I'm learning and I'm being trained how to do life, how to hear now learning for myself how to hear God clearly, how to now grow as a leader, how to not focus on other people and focus on my journey, not to compare myself with anyone. So that's how the last 7 years were.
Was there healing of an absent father in that situation?
Yes, there was. Yes, there was.
And did you ever meet with your biological father or no?
Maybe I did. I have a memory of someone who gave me 20 shillings long time ago.
Okay.
when I was in class 4.
But it's not somebody who came looking for you after?
No.
Later on?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, as somebody who's not had that, I don't want to take it for granted. So what does the healing for that look like? Because that's for you.
You see, and I think for me where I was, when you don't think you need something, you won't feel the void of it, yet it shows. Okay, that's why I said for a woman to become a leader beyond what they have seen, they need to have the right father. So remember, I had this belief all my life that God is my father. For some reason, my mind shifted to that mindset, and then now God introduced me later to a father who has now walked with me in a very beautiful journey. But before that, I would look at people and I'm like, hey, your father is strict. Oh, me, I don't even want a father. And then for some reason, I never felt a gap. But then at 17, of course, it showed up.
Yeah, that time.
When I had this breakdown, and I'm like, where is my father? Where wasn't even he here? But then just seeing how the covering or how my life was curated to come to a specific place now to meet the person who had called now my father. Yeah.
And what has that walk with your father done?
Changed my perspective about life and about even leadership. Because where I was in 2016, I thought that was it. I mean, even someone coming and offering me $1 million, that was amazing. I'm sure I would have still called them in 2018. I mean, I still have their emails. I would have gone to incorporate and make sure I call them. But then
I get it.
I would have come up with a way to make sure that I call them. But then learning how not to defend myself, learning how to become the ultimate expression of who I was meant to be. Actually, it's through him that I realized Mary means rebellion, and my journey and an explanation of my journey. I didn't know. I just knew, the way my life is, pans out differently. But that's fine. Let's keep living life. So now finding an identity beyond what I do in the physical, but now growing as a woman and understanding who I am, a woman who is a key, even in everything that I do, a woman who is able to now push boundaries beyond not what people speak of, but then a woman who is able to grow beyond the leadership of what I had seen when I was growing up or what I've ever seen in life. That there's a path that has been laid on for me that even me, I don't know. I'm still now discovering. I don't know. I can only discover the more I'm growing inside.
Okay.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
So we're going to COVID.
Yeah. Well, there's
Is that
2019 was also key because we worked a lot, but then 2019 was, I'll just pick one client. We worked with a client who was in blockchain technologies.
Blockchain?
Yeah.